Shalom, shalom, shabbat shalom, shabbat shalom. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah, and welcome to this amazing channel where we bring a lot of teachings of Torah, productions, music, and everything that we can possibly bring so we can strive to bring excitement to study the Torah. And that's what it's all about. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can get the latest production. We are always in constant productions. Lately, we are coming out with a brand new album that is coming very, very soon on this week. So expect that, and I will be bringing it to the channel as well. So let's start off in this Torah portion, this Parashat, Mishpatim. Mishpatim means judgments. And we will learn a couple of things. One of them is what the meaning of Mishpatim means. What does it mean to us today as a Talmidim, as a student of Torah, student of the Mashiach, and follower of our Mashiach. So let's start off. We remember last week, we remember what the scripture talks about, our forefathers receiving the 10 words. Now follows to the Mishpatim, one to another. Let's jump into it. It talks about judgments. It talks about the court. It talks about the judge. It talks about everything related to the neighbor. So let's start off. It's chapter 21, all the way to 24, verse 8. Ole 1 says, these are the mishpatim, the ordinances that you should set before them. One of the things that this Torah portion covers is about 99.9, I would say 100, of the things how we are related to the neighbor, how you treat your neighbor, how you treat your mom, your dad, your worker, your coworker, your boss, your friends. How do you treat them? That is what is this Torah portion is all about. And the reason I think it covers quite a few things is because the Creator wants us, just as well as you have connection to the Creator, honoring Him, you need to also do the same thing with your neighbor. And let me just jump into it. This Torah portion, Mishpatim, sometimes is called Sefer HaBrit, the Book of the Covenant. Why? Because here contains something very vital. And let me explain you why. About 11.5% of all the mitzvot of Yahweh found throughout the Torah, 53 out of the 613 mitzvot of Yahweh covers this Torah portion. So it's not anything but amazing how the Creator covers this Torah portion, and we need to find out why. Chapter 24, verse 3 of Shemot or Exodus, Moshe came and told the people all that Yahweh have said, including all the mishpatim, his judgments. The people responded with one voice, we will obey all the words that Yahweh has spoken. Our forefathers did not, I repeat, did not question, did not ask 20 questions. If there was a insurance, there was a life insurance, there was an accountant, if it was benefits. They didn't ask any of that, but they just responded, Kol asher diber Yahweh na'aseh, which means everything that Yahweh has said, we will do. But besides this verse that we are looking at, Kol asher diber Yahweh na'aseh, they also say something else. Kol asher diber Yahweh na'aseh v'nishma. Everything that Yahweh has said, we will do and obey. Once again, we see one in another verse where our forefathers did indeed specify themselves that they will do everything and they will obey everything that Yahweh has spoken. And it's amazing because, once again, all has a lot to do with the relationship with one another, which is very, very important. No wonder why our forefathers, even the Mashiach, that we're supposed to have love one another. What is love about? Keeping the commandments of Yahweh. It's all about obeying Yahweh's commands. The relationship between you and the neighbor. In other words, have peace. But peace is not what people are seeking for. What they're seeking for is their own benefits, their own volition, their own end at the end of the day. We always looking for our own benefits and nothing about the neighbor. And that's what basically the custom, the lifestyle, it is everywhere. Nobody cares. Maybe a certain percent cares about the neighbor. Nobody really cares about the neighbor. We care about our own selves. No wonder why Mashiach said, love Yahweh with all your heart, mind, and soul, and you should do the same thing with your neighbor. But the problem is that we only do one, which is with quote-unquote loving Yahweh, not the neighbor, as you love yourself. So let's continue with this. And let's look first, the first simple, comprehensible mitzvah, okay? It is what is called, the mitzvah is basically the simple, comprehensible command that Yahweh has given. The second is the chukin, no logical reason, but it is codified with our Mashiach. Our Mashiach, and let me stop here for a moment. Our Mashiach is giving us the advantage point to understand the scriptures and giving us the double portion to understand the Torah even more in depth. Why? Because the Mashiach has given us, Mashiach is codified in the Torah. In the contrary to what popular believe, that we don't know much, is the realities that we do. Let me explain to you why. If we go back here, the second, the Chukim, where it is explained that there is no logical reason, and there is no reason why this the Paramaduma, which is the red heifer or heifer, we understand that this heifer is the Mashiach because the scripture talks about that. Hebrews chapter 10 and 8 talks about the Paramaduma, which is the Mashiach. Even our own Jewish brothers speaks about the Paramaduma, that there have been in time 9 Paramadumot, red heifers, 9 of them, and the Mashiach will bring the 10th. But we know that our Mashiach already brought the 10th, which is himself, in the first century. So we understand the double portion, that because we are the firstborn, we receive the double portion. You know that because the Torah speaks about it. Let's go with the third. The third is the Mishpat, or Mishpat, I'm sorry. Mishpat has a lot to do related to the neighbor. How do you treat the neighbor? How the neighbor treats to you. It's all about the Mishpat. This Torah portion talks about mainly about the Mishpat. Let's find out where. 5:31 of Deuteronomy, or Devarim. But you standing here next to me, I will tell you all the mitzvot, that's the first one, the chukim, and the mishpatim, the judgments, that you will teach them so that they can obey them in the land that I'm giving them as their possession. We see pretty much here that our Creator is teaching Moshe to teach the people about these 3 concepts where the Torah stands. The mitzvot, or mitzvot, the chukim, the ordinances, and the judgments, the mishpatim. All these are related from Yahweh to the human, to Am Yisrael, to the relationship between Israel to our Creator, and the relationship between you and the neighbor. So all that is very, very vital in order for us to follow Torah. Now, the Bet Din, which means the tribunal law, a lot of people always ask me, what is the Bet Din? The Bet Din is basically the relationship that you have had, okay, between you and the neighbor. And also it's called the Bet Mishpat, which is the house of the law. The house of the law has a lot to do, not between you and the Creator himself, but rather has a lot to do between you and the neighbor. Look what it says here, 25 verse 1 of Deuteronomy or Devarim. If there is a controversy between men and they should come to Mishpat, you see that? Judgments. And the Shoftim, the judges, shall render a decision in favor of the Tzaddik, the righteous, and condemn the Rasha, the wicked. You see that? That will be between you and the neighbor, in other words. There will be in between them, there will be a judge, there will be a Shoftim, or judges. Now we know what the Mishpat means. Chapter 31, verse 16 of Exodus, children of Israel will observe the Shabbat to make the Shabbat an everlasting covenant for their generations. This Shabbat is not just for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 50 years, 1,000 years, but rather it has to be passed on from one generation to another. La asot echa Shabbat, which means to do in Shabbat. This statement that Yahweh makes here in the Torah is very, very important. But also, when we are in Shabbat and we are looking at and reading our prayer book, the Sidur, La Asocha Shabbat appears many times. The question is why? La Asocha Shabbat is what we are doing in Shabbat. But what are we doing in Shabbat? What is it that you're supposed to do in Shabbat? What is it that you're supposed to honor in Shabbat is very crucial. The word asad means made, business, fact, to execute. In other words, what the Creator wants from you and I is to take Shabbat like it was your own business. Like it was a literal business, like to make money. But let me explain to you why I say that. When Yahweh speaks about that we need to take His matter, His law, His Torah, like it was your own business, is that you need to make time for it. You need to invest time to the Creator. How do we invest time to the Creator? By your prayers, by the Torah studying, by doing the TZEDAKAH, which is helping your brother, okay, at the synagogue, and so forth. But a lot of people don't understand what this means, and let me explain to you why. When you have a literal business, when you have your own business to make money, what do you do to make this business grow? You advertise, you open from a certain amount of hours, 5 days out of the week or 6, except for Shabbat, of course, and you open from 8 to 5. If you open from 8 to 5, you advertise, you're growing more and more, you bring in more people, you voice it out, and you bring in more people, more business grow, more money come in, because you're putting a lot of time in it. The business grows and grows and grows and grows. But how about if you open twice a week, once a month, 5 days out of the whole year? What will happen to that business? That business will go broke. And the same goes with the Torah itself, with the things of Yahweh. If you don't invest time to our Creator, you will not grow. You will go broke. Our Creator says that He wants you and I to invest time like it was your own business, to invest time to the Creator, to do tzedakah, to do prayer, tefillah, to study the Torah. But the problem is that we like to just wait for Shabbat or wait for the festivals or when you have financial problems or health problems. That's not what it's all about. The Creator wants you to have it as everyday life. In other words, it's supposed to be a way of life. And the problem is that we take it like it was, or it is, like in the other side, like a religion. And it's not a religion, it's a way of life. La'asot Shabbat means the Shabbat business, the business of Yahweh. How do you make the business grow? As I stated earlier, invest time in Yahweh. Micah 6:8, oh man, it has already been told to you, and what is good, what Yahweh seeks from you more than to do, which is asad, that means to act, justice, loving kindness, and be ready to walk with your Ayi Almighty. What is it that the Creator wants from all of us? To do the same thing. The problem is in the first century, they kind of forgot that, and that's why the Mashiach was very infuriated with them, because they totally forgot to do this first and not forget the rest. But what the problem was in the first century is that they were doing what the letter of the Torah says, which is you need to tie this, you need to tie that, but they forgot this. Totally unacceptable. And let me show you why. Look at what Matthew 23:23. Woe to you, teachers of the Torah and Pharisees, hypocrites! You pay tithes of the mint, deal, incoming, but you have totally neglect of the more important matters of the Torah: justice, love, and mercy. Exactly what Micah says. These are the things that you should have not be attending to without neglecting the others. Neglecting Yahweh's mercy, love, and justice is what Yahweh demands first. He's not stating don't pay tithes. He didn't say that. He said not neglecting the others. In other words, it's okay that you're doing the tithes, no problem. But don't forget what is most important: the mercy, love, and justice. Exactly what Micah stated earlier. The gematria for Mishpatim is 479. And it's the same gematria for Aaron, 479. What is the relationship between one another? Let's find out. 39 years was in the desert. 27 years was in Mountain Ebal. 369 years was in Shiloh. 7 years was in Hebron. 30 years was in Jerusalem with David, and 4 years was with Shalomo. 479 years. Exactly what the Torah states, which means they needed to do, just because inside the Aaron was the 10 words, was the Torah, was the most precious things of Yahweh and what Yahweh stands for, and it gives you that amount of years with Aaron, with the Torah stayed on those years in those places. But now let's find out what the next thing is. Deuteronomy, Devarim 6:20. One day your son will ask you, what is the meaning of the instructions? What is the chukim, the ordinances, and what is the mishpatim, the judgments that Yahweh our Ayi Almighty has given to you? This is one of the questions that, whether we like it or not, it will come out. Whether we like it or not, it will be asked by our children, by our generations to come. So we need to prepare ourselves. We need to have a right answer to give to our generations. And exactly what Yahweh stated, that these mishpatim, these chukim, are for us to better ourselves, from us to the neighbor, from us to Yahweh, and is a way of life how to have a peaceful mind, state, and soul. Now, the problem is that people change. People rather follow their own path instead of the path of Yahweh. And exactly what Ezekiel 20:25 said. I also gave them hukim, ordinances, that were not good, and mishpatim, judgments by which they could not live. Why? The question is why the Creator states these verses. And the main reason why is because of their disobedience, because they're hard-headed. The Creator allowed them to have their own rules, their own man-made rules, to follow their own. And exactly what happened in the first century when the Mashiach came, they were following their own, disregarding what it was already given to them in the very beginning. And then I will show you in a minute why I'm saying that. The problem is that the hard-headed of people, even though they have it right in front of them, the Torah, they rather follow their own rules, their own main rules. So Yahweh allowed them to continue to do their own evil acts. Mashiach was not happy about it. Mashiach was rather dismayed of what he's seen because of our hard-headed. We see what happened in the beginning. And now let me give you another verse. 10 verse 1 of Isaiah, Ishayahu. Woe to those who compose wicked decrees and write perverse documents. This is not something new. What it was, it will be again. Chapter 1 verse 9 of Ecclesiastes. The past repeats itself. And exactly what was in the first century, exactly what happened right before the first century, is exactly what's going on today. The Torah states very clear here, Deuteronomy 4 verse 2, to obey the mitzvot of Yahweh your Creator that I am giving you, do not add what I am saying to you, and do not subtract from it. In other words, keep it the way it is. Keep it the way Yahweh has given you. Don't touch it. Don't stain it. And of course, people like to do their own volition, their own ways, their own thinking that they know better than Yahweh. Let me show you what I'm saying. This is the Takanot and the Gezurot, which are the proclamations and decrees of the rabbis, invented from nothing, without any scriptural justification. They are simply new religious laws without the authority of with the authority, tikkun, of the oral law, and violate what is stated in the Torah in what we just read. Don't add, don't subtract. Don't touch it. But once again, they like to do their own ways. And this is what is the Takonot de Kesorot. The Talmud of Babylon, Erubin 21b, says very clear, beware, my son, of the rabbinical order, even more of the Torah. Do you believe that? The Torah contains prohibitions. But if someone violates the rabbinical law, he is worthy of death. Did you see this? Please take note of this, because I'm not making it up. Okay, I don't have it on my slide of the sleeve. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you exactly what our Jewish brothers are doing until now. They've been doing it for years, since the times of our Mashiach. They've been changing, adding things from the Torah, making their own laws, even to the point where disregard what Yahweh has given to Moshe, but they always have the sticker that they follow Moshe, but in reality they follow their own rules. And we Once again, please read it, pause it, rewind it, take notes, go find out. I'm not making it up. Look at what Ramban introduction of the Mishnah. If there are 1,000 prophets of the Almighty, all the stature of Eliyahu and Elisha, giving one interpretation, and 1,001 rabbis giving another interpretation opposite to of the prophets of the Almighty. Look at what they said, or what he said, Ramban. You must learn towards their 1,001 rabbis than the prophets of the Almighty, because the rabbis are men of reason and logic. In other words, don't listen to the prophets of Elisha or Eliyahu because they don't know any better. Do you believe that? Exactly what the scripture says, chapter 1, verse 9. The past repeats itself. The history repeats itself. We're living in times that our forefathers live. They disregard of the Torah, this disregard of the prophets. The prophets, they don't listen to. They listen to their own prophets, their own buddy. And I'll give you an example. This Torah explains very, very simple that there was this king that needed an advice of his counselors. These counselors happens to be their friends from youth. He hired them to be their counselors. But there was something that came out that he needed to go on war. And the counselors, they from his youth, his buddy friends, told him, you need to go and kill and avenge and do all this. And the prophet of the Almighty came, don't do that because you will die. You will die, and you will need to do this, you need to do that. He was infuriated, but he rather listened not to the prophet of the Almighty Yahweh, but he rather listened to his buddy friends. And that's exactly what's going on today. People like to see a face instead of seeing the face of Yahweh. People like to listen to a human instead of listen to Yahweh says on his Torah. Is exactly what's going on today. We need to be very, very careful. Jeremiah 17 verse 5 says, cursed to be a man to put his trust in men. Verse 7 says, but blessed is the man who all his might is in trust in Yahweh. So today, the rabbis are the modern Pharisees. Who said this? Themselves. Talmud of Babylon, Kiddushi 66a, Nidat 33b. Themselves, they said they are the modern Pharisees. My brothers, we are living in the modern times, and the Torah schools of Hillel and Shammai began their study in 30 to 60 years before Yahushua Mashiach. They established their own Torah learning schools, their own thinking. One was a little bit different from the other, but the point is that when Mashiach came, neither one of them were more leaning to the Torah, but leaning to their own understanding. And Mashiach was very, very not happy with them. Today we are living basically in the same thing as Mashiach was living. Whether we like it or not, brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, I can tell you this, that we need to listen to our Creator Yahweh, because He is the only one that can actually tell us the more things for us, because it's for our own good. And let me finish with this, with our Mashiach. Look at what His Torah says, Lo bashamayim hi. It is not in heaven. Where does it say? 30 verse 12 of Deuteronomy. It is not in heaven, so yeah, you need to ask, who will go to heaven for us and bring us to us and make us hear so that we may obey? Look at what the rabbis said. The rabbis said that the Torah is not in the Shemayim heavens. It was given to Moshe at Sinai, for which Yahweh no longer has authority. Only the rabbis during the time of Yahushua. Do you believe that? This is what they said. That's one of the reasons why they have the authority, almost like a Catholic church. almost like a pope. The same thing, different hat. So look at what Mashiach says. 15 verse 4 of Matthew. For the mighty one said, honor your father and your mother. Whoever strikes their father or mother shall die. But you say the iniquity committed by a person when they say anything to their father or mother is covered when they make a voluntary donation for that sin. In other words, they always try to cover all for money, all for greed. They always make rules, an exception to the rules, to get away, to make money off of a rule, of a Torah mitzvah, and they make an excuse for the person to do this. They say, just give us a donation, just give us an offering, and you're absent from it. Don't worry about it. Clean as a slate. And look at what Mashiach says right after that. Matthew 15 verse 6, in this way he does not honor his father and mother, and you disregard the degrees of the mighty for your rules. Do you see that? And exactly what's going on today, brothers and sisters. Exactly what the Torah portion states very clear. We are living in peril times. We are living in the times that we need to be very careful who we listen to, even to myself. I'm bringing you the facts. I'm bringing you the Torah portion, but you need to listen to Yahweh himself. You need to take notes because he's the only one in our Mashiach to give you the knowledge, the double portion of the firstborn. So we understand better the scriptures. We understand better what Yahweh is been telling us for so many years, which is follow the Torah, follow the Torah. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. We'll see you next time. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed, and we'll see you next time. Shabbat Shalom.
Give us a like. Thank you. We'll begin.
Toda Rabba. If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. There's more content in production. Thank you.